This is the Military Meditation Coach podcast, your source for meditation, mindfulness, and relaxation exercises. Made for the military, but good for everyone. I'm Dr. Julie Kinn with the Defense Health Agency, and today, Public Health Service Commander William MacNulty, Health Promotion Psychologist for the 1st Special Forces Group, returns for part 2 of his 4-part series, Mindful Movement. Before we get on to Commander MacNulty, I'd like to remind you that the views expressed here are those of the presenters and do not reflect the official policy of the Department of Defense or the United States government. The Military Meditation Coach is produced by the Naval Center for Combat and Operational Stress Control and by the Defense Health Agency. Please let us know what you think. We can receive your requests at our email address in the show notes. You can also learn more about us on Facebook and Twitter at Military Health. Our website is health.mil. All right, on to Commander MacNulty and mindful movement.
Welcome to the practice of mindful movement. For this period of practice, we'll be seated in a chair, preferably a straight-backed chair without armrests. And the intention for mindful movement is the same as any other form of mindfulness practice, to bring moment-to-moment awareness to what is happening in the body as we move it through a series of gentle strengthening and stretching exercises that are commonly referred to as poses. Relating to it all without judgment, and working within our limits on this day with an attitude of curiosity and compassion. Now, what that means, practically speaking, is respecting the wisdom of our body in terms of discerning how far to go into a particular pose and how long to remain there. And if we ever encounter any sensations that we might call pain in response to a particular pose, anything beyond the mild and transient discomfort that comes with a good stretch, then the skillful response is to ease back from, or maybe even completely out of, that pose. Just respecting the limits of our body at this time, in this moment. Our mindfulness practice can be equally rich at the 50% effort, or maybe not even doing a pose at all, provided that we bring awareness to our experience in that moment. And so coming to a seated position in our chair, and sitting with the feet on the floor. The hands can be palm facing down on the knees, the back upright, not rigid but straight, the shoulders relaxed. The head can be balanced on the neck, the eyes can be open, the gaze softly focused. And in this upright and dignified posture, just taking a few moments to settle into the body, connect with the body by way of the breath. Just feeling the breath moving into and out of the body. And on the next in-breath, allowing the arms to float up by the sides and all the way up so that the upper arms are on either side of the ears, extending the arms up towards the sky or ceiling, the fingers pointing upwards, the palms facing each other, and the thumbs pointing towards the wall behind you. Making the body as long as we can, from the hips, the side body, up through the arms and right out through the fingertips. and sensing into whatever sensations are arising in the body as we engage in this stretch. Just being present. On the next out-breath, allowing the arms to float back down by the sides, just sweeping the walls with your fingertips as they come down, and sensing into the motion of the arms as they come back down to rest by the sides. And sensing into the feeling of release and relief as they hang by the sides or just resting on the knees. And noticing whatever changes have arisen in the body just from that one stretch. Noticing any thoughts or sensations or feelings that may arise. Noticing and allowing them to be there as they arise and maybe linger in our awareness for a while, and then change. And from here, we'll begin an exploration of the range of motion of the back and spine, beginning by, on the next in-breath, lifting the arms up by the side and up towards the sky once again. And this time, the palms are facing each other once again. But from here, we'll begin to arch over to the right, so making the upper part of our body into a sort of crescent shape and feeling the resulting stretch along the left side of the body. But also extending long from the right side of the body, so we're not collapsing into the right side, but extending the body long on both sides, but really feeling the stretch on the left side of the body. And if we notice that the left shoulder is kind of fallen forward, we can open up the chest, drawing the left shoulder back towards the wall behind us, just extending the left hand towards the right side, and then returning to center. And now arching over to the left side, feeling into the stretch on the right side of the body now, but extending the body long on the left side as well. Just moving the body into this crescent moon shape over to the left side now. And breathing here, being present. And if we notice any sensations of effort or exertion that is not needed to hold the pose, perhaps inviting the body to soften in that area, relaxing into the pose as best we can. And then returning to center. And once again, allowing the arms to float back down by the sides or resting on the knees. And just noticing any sensations arising in the arms, the shoulders, or really anywhere else on the body. Observing them, be they pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and allowing them to be just as they are, as best as we can. So the back can move from side to side, and it can also move forwards and backwards. And so from here, on the next in-breath, allowing the arms to float upwards towards the sky once again. And from here, once the arms are fully extended, interlacing the fingers and extending the index fingers up towards the sky. And looking up towards the fingertips, and imagine drawing a straight line on the ceiling back towards the wall behind you, resulting in a gentle back bend, nothing too deep, just a little bit, and drawing the abdomen in towards the back to support the low back as we just move into and hold this gentle back bend, exploring this dimension of the back's abilities. And coming back to a neutral position. And from here, again, drawing in the abdomen to support the low back, we can begin a forward fold by hinging the body forward from the hips, keeping the body straight, the back straight, as we allow the torso to hinge forward. And from here, allowing the arms to float down between the knees so that the index fingers are now pointing towards the ground, and then rounding the shoulders forward and allowing the head to drop forward as we let the spine round forward and lay the upper body on the tops of the legs. And just resting here, feeling the stretch through the low back, the mid back. And from here, keeping the abdomen engaged to support the low back, beginning to roll the spine back up, one vertebrae at a time, as we return to an upright, seated posture. And just resting here for a few moments. So in addition from moving side to side and forward and back, the back can also twist in either direction. And so beginning to explore this range of motion by placing the right hand on the small of the back and the left hand on the outside of the upper right leg, just beginning a gentle twist to the right, beginning at the hips and twisting up into the shoulders, and then looking over the right shoulder, turning the neck and head to the right, and breathing into the stretch like we were wringing the spine, like a towel that was wet, just wringing out the water, and breathing with this stretch now. And then turning the head back to center, the shoulders back to center, and then the hips and torso back to the center neutral position, the hands resting on the legs. Pausing here for a moment, and then the left hand comes to the small of the back, and the right hand on the outside of the left leg, beginning to move the torso to the left, and then the shoulders to the left, and finally turning the head and neck to the left, looking over the left shoulder, and once again breathing into this twisting, wringing sensation, feeling the stretching, twisting along the left side of the body, and breathing here, lengthening on the in-breath and deepening the twist on the out-breath. And then turning the head back to center, the shoulders and torso, the arms and the hands, and the hips back to this neutral, centered, balanced, seated posture. And now, taking a few moments just to sit, allowing the body to integrate the benefits that arise from being in and with the body in this way for this period of time. And then, when you're ready, in the next moment or two, inviting another slow, deep in-breath, and then with a moment-to-moment awareness of doing so, exhaling and then shifting the gaze, perhaps moving the wrists or ankles or shoulders or whatever part of the body you see fit as we conclude this period of mindful movement practice.